Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming to another episode of Love Advice. I'm Susan Winter, and I already see my fabulous people over here in the chat feature. Bea and Gwyneth, my moderators, how much I adore you and appreciate that you show up every single time that we do this show on every Thursday. And to Ellie, E.T., and to the other people that are showing up that I've had a chance to meet, I do appreciate your being here. Today, our show is talking about trust. And trust is an important issue. It is an important issue to be able to, one, get into a relationship, because if you don't trust yourself or trust the other person, you're not going to want to walk on what I call thin ice. And two is during the actual relationship itself. There are going to be things that happen. Those of you in long-term relationships, you know that this is true. You will do things that are insensitive and hurt your partner, and they'll do the same thing. And there'll be those uh-oh moments where, like, that's a really long conversation with your coworker, or you have a private dinner again tonight. So, there will be times that we need to have trust. So I appreciate all of you for being here. E.T., Gwyneth, Gnarly Cat, Insia, Mo Tigers, you're new to me. Let's see, who else do we have who's new? Bea, I adore you. You know that. Okay, so let me talk. There are a couple of prongs to the issue of trust. Firstly, you as an individual enter a relationship. This conversation is very similar to what I have about jealousy and insecurity and fears. Do you inherently have a distrust of all people? Because if you do, that will hinder you from creating a blank slate to start all over again and to allow the possibility of love to occur. We need to acknowledge that there can be red flags, and we need to be aware of them. And I'm not asking you to put on rose-colored glasses and ignore everything from your past. If you've got a wound in the past, you're carrying that baggage forward. It's great to have that as this can happen, and I know these signs, but you don't want to let that stop you from trying again. Then the question is, how much baggage, fear, insecurity, trust issues does your partner have when you're coming into a relationship? Okay, let's say it's new. The most fragile and delicate. There are going to be glitches all the time in new relationships. There are going to be misunderstandings and assumptions gone wrong, and we just know this. It's part and parcel of the entire new getting to know each other, because nobody wants to be the only one who's completely and hanging out there. So in order to even begin to discuss this multi-pronged issue of trust, we need to ask ourselves, what is my general disposition of resilience and trustworthiness? Am I a trustworthy partner? Can I trust another person? Because there's what's really happening in the relationship, because it's actually happening, and there's what you bring forward into the relationship and see with your eyes that are already pre-programmed to see all sorts of scary things. Because there are people who are innately insecure, innately jealous, and asking them to trust is going to be difficult. I'm going to tell you a story that I have right now of a client that I've been working with for a while who hates online dating, because obviously you never know if they are who they are, but had a brief getting together with somebody who was very sketchy about social media. And I understand not all people like social media, but most people, even if they're business people and they don't want to have pictures of themselves at a barbecue or whatever, they will have a LinkedIn profile. And this person wouldn't give her any information like that. It was really weird. Come to find out a couple months later, the reason why was because the fellow was married, didn't want to tell her. Kind of a basic requirement. So now in this new relationship that she's starting to foster, you know what's happening. She's carrying that bag of, do you do what you say you do because the guy had lied about his job? And then are you who you say you are because you're hiding some stuff from me? And as we look at this, it's a little bit of both. it's hard not to have some fears when you walk into these things. So we have to assess, there's a difference between getting consistent red flags that you're seeing because you know this is code. Consistent red flag, oh, Mito Sweden. Wait, I just caught this right here. Is Mito Sweden here? Hi, you're MH. Okay, adore you. You're from Instagram. I just saw that because it came in caps. When I write you in caps, it doesn't mean I'm shouting. What it really means is I want you to notice my, discussion as opposed to everybody else's that gets filtered together. So you will be noticing red flags, okay? I'm not asking you to stop, but I also want you to measure that against your level of innate fear, okay? So that's part one. Two, when you meet somebody new, what is their background? I currently am working with a person who has the same issue as their new prospective partner. They like each other and they want to get into a relationship, but they have the same wound of not trusting. So somebody's got to crawl out to the edge of the ice and try. So obviously it's going to be the client that I work with. Not a bad thing, at least you try. We have to assume to some degree that what they are saying, if we don't know them, could be accurate until proven otherwise. But I recently did a show for The List, and I work for them every couple of months or so on ABC TV, and I'll put this on my website. But it was called When to Spy and Not to Spy. And we talked about the difference between snooping and spying. But for those of you who are about to date somebody new that you meet online, or even you didn't care enough to even Google them because you don't even know if you like them, but you had a first date, it went really well, and you're like, oh my God, I really like this person. I don't want to know, but maybe I should. They said they did this and this. Let me check LinkedIn. Let me Google them. I think it is just personal opinion, it is totally logical and not creepy to Google the person you're dating if you do not know them from a social context. These people that we meet online are completely anonymous. People are very good nowadays. They change their names. They'll do a LinkedIn profile just for the people that they want to think that they are that person. So we have to be careful, okay? So this is number one. Now, we will always be suspicious and mistrusting and cautious if we're chronically looking for red flags, but do not ignore them. Now, let's talk about being in a relationship. Here is the gold standard. My cure for trust. If you can infuse into your relationship a baseline of honest dialogue, you will eliminate a lot of your resentments because the resentments are issues that were never processed, and you'll eliminate a lot of the assumptions that are inaccurate. I cannot stress enough how from the very fundamental beginning, one of you, probably the one watching this show, has to be the one to establish it's okay to talk. Many of you who know my story, I grabbed bits and pieces from my past relationships, and I dated a wonderful guy. I mean, he, in his own words, he was done. I was it. He was absolutely done. But there was a no talk rule. That's my word for it. It's just he'd never had a dispute or an issue with a girlfriend. Well, he never had a girlfriend longer than a year. So here's the way it works for women. And ladies, you can back me up on this. In the beginning, we don't want to be the pain in the butt. We want to be nice and warm, and we don't want to be difficult, right? So many modern women don't want to appear difficult. So we don't articulate what upsets us. And it gets bigger. And we kind of keep smiling, and we go along, and we try and ignore it, and then we see it over and over again. We're thinking, okay. And then there's that one off day where, for whatever reason, the woman explodes. And mostly, whoever her partner is suddenly thinks, okay, she's crazy because she was nice. Now she's nuts. She's crazy. But all the time, this person was either afraid to speak up or didn't have the skill to know how to articulate what she was feeling and how to present that information in a neutral, rational sense. so that she could communicate to her partner what her fear was or what his fear was. You see, and it goes both ways. You have a guy that seems really compliant, really cool, then one day turns around and screams at you and says, I hate shopping. I don't want to visit your sister-in-law. I want to shoot hoops with the guys. And you're like, dude, where'd that come from? It's a month of never telling you the truth because they didn't think they could. So establish it's okay to talk. And when you hear things you don't like, you got to be mature about it because they may tell you things that you know are so wrong. And the first thing you want to do is defend yourself. I didn't say it. That's not, you got the wrong. Just hear them out. Try to listen because you want them to listen to you. Okay? So this is one. We have to have a basis of honest communication or we will never have a sense of trust. Because a lack of trust comes from number 2, which is inconsistency. We're seeing irregularities, things that disturb us. And I often talk about this term that I call, it's a Susanism, but I call it a break in the pattern. Somebody new. They've been texting you every morning. The day comes, very strange. You don't know what's happening. Why are you not texting you? They tell you they can't wait to talk to you. They go away on a weekend. So you're adventurous and a little bold and you text them and say, hey, how's your weekend going? Crickets, nothing. Nothing. So this can make us feel anxious, okay? This is what we call a break in the pattern. Breaks in the pattern, irregularities, basically under the subtitle of inconsistency. So in order to have true trust, we have to be able to provide consistency, safety, predictability to our partner. Again, if you are dealing with a wounded person that has not worked on themselves and has not worked on their issues, you can be as safe and honest and predictable and soothing as you want, but it may not work. So it depends on who you both are when you enter the relationship, how well you communicate, and how you discuss your perception of what happened. Because there are so many different perceptions. Have you ever gone to a party and you've seen something happen and everybody weighs in and they all saw something different? Maybe they're all in harmony because they think, oh, well, that's what she said, I should say it too. But so perception can be off because our perception, our truth is always tainted by our reality, which is by our history. All right? So these are the things that we have to do to establish trust. Do you understand? And and the last conversation, if trust has been broken through dishonesty, financial infidelity, betrayal, very hard to ever get it back to normal. Not impossible, but very, very, very difficult. It is like a fine china cup. This is the way I describe it. And you can use that super glue and you can send it out to somebody who's a specialist to make it look beautiful, but you're always going to see that crack. And it's very hard to forgive. I do have a close friend whose husband just decided to follow up on some high school friend that wrote him on Facebook. And they had an affair. And my friend found out. And I know she didn't want to leave him. She didn't want to divorce him. They were separated for about 6 years. And they're together now. And I don't know that it's what she wanted, but I know that her alternative choice was less agreeable. For her, she would rather have a man that she is angry with, but he's there. And so we each make our own decisions according to where we are in life and what our dominant needs are at the time. There's no right and wrong. It's how courageous are you to work on yourself? How confident are you to survive and be resilient on your own? There are people who do not like their mate. And there's a lot of lying and a lot of cheating and a lot of betrayal. But the alternative is, God, I don't want to date again. I don't want to start all over. And so then they compartmentalize their lives and live these separate transactional lives where they have some kind of implicit agreement, or maybe they've even got a contract This is not ideal, but again, people do what's best for themselves. So in counseling all these individuals, I have to be very mindful that my idea of what a rewarding relationship is may not be the same as the person that's coming to me. For them, it may be built on totally different standards. So I'm willing to answer, I'm here actually to answer your questions. And if you have something you are certain that I must read, please put it into Super Chat. Otherwise, here we go. I had to log back into the video. Let's see. Jillian N. got engaged. Congratulations. Let's see. Breaking up. Sound lost. Sound is working for me. I lost the feed a minute ago, but it's back now. Sorry, everyone. Let's see. Abandonment. Okay, E.T. I happen to have met E.T. in Munich. Abandonment fear can make us quite to not create drama, make things complicated. So remember, this is a second language. So I think a lot about people are hesitant to talk openly about issues, especially at the beginning of a relationship. Yes, but wouldn't it be fabulous if we trusted ourselves enough to be able to be revealing enough that we are subliminally laying out the ground rules? See, I think there's a way to do it very elegantly. You know, you don't have to tell somebody, my father abandoned us and my mother died when I was 16 and I've been on my own. And then the one cousin that I thought was with me turned out to be against me and took all my money. I mean, I don't think that first dates need that or the beginning of a relationship needs that. But I do think that whomever is the most proactive is setting the tone for the relationship. If you want a partner to share with you, you should start sharing first to set the template. Remember, new relationships are a blank canvas. This person that you're sitting across from may have had relationships before or had a couple or maybe was married, whatever. And they know what they know, but they don't know your world. And it's your responsibility to set the template for what you want to have in your relationship. Because if you don't take the wheel in your hands, I guarantee you, you're going to get what they give you. Absolutely. And if you don't like what they're giving you, you better get in there and explain how you would like it to be. It could be a very simple statement at the beginning, like, I have this thing. I believe in honesty, even if I don't want to hear what my partner has to say. But I find that sometimes talking about the difficult things or the confusing things, actually in the long run, is a lot better because we both know where we stand with each other. And I like you. I think you're really cool. I would just suggest that that's kind of a good formula if we want to move on from here, whatever it is. I mean, somebody's got to do it. Everybody's scared. So, for a long time I've been saying, you don't have to trust them. You just have to trust yourself. Can you handle it? We've all had our hearts broken. Come on. Really? Is there anybody on this channel that has never had heartache ever in their lives? You're alive. You're here. Did you ever love again? Some people, no, I'll never love again. I'm sorry that that's your opinion because you always think it's never going to be the same. It's never going to be the same. It's going to be different. But it doesn't mean because you've lost one love that you will never love again. Love is around us at all times. There's always the possibility for it, and sometimes when we least expect it. So let me answer some of your questions. If any of you have anything in Super Chat, I'm happy to do that. Let's see. Stephania. Hello, Susan. Thank you for this live. The new guy I'm currently dating has told me he has trust issues. I can feel he is insecure sometimes, makes little comments here and there. How to reassure him? Okay, very good. Remember, okay, you can't fix him. He's got to fix himself. However, I would ask him some questions. What do you wish your past partners had given you that they didn't? What do you wish they'd said or done that they didn't that caused you to have trust issues? Where did the trust issues come from? Are they your family of origin or are they your relationships? Because you don't have much to do with this family of origin, okay? You really don't. He's playing that out in his own head. But if you can know specifically what it is, you can more specifically address it. If you like this person well enough, or if you just want to improve your own skill set, ask questions. How can I assist you in this? How can I make it comfortable for you? Let's do something fun. What if we fix some of that stuff? What if we actually addressed it? Why don't you tell me what you need? And I'll see if I can do it. And then see if what he's asking is reasonable. And if he gives you what he needs, he tells you, and you do what he has suggested, and you still see that he's weird, tried a couple times, then it's not about you. You did your job. This is very good information, and I'm really grateful, and I love it when I'm getting questions specifically on the topic for which I'm having the discussion. So I hope that helps you. Thank you. Jillian, you are welcome. Oh, Jack, 99.99. Thank you so much, Jack. Welcome here. Okay, and I love the rose. Did I get a rose? I got a rose. I love it. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, Slag, she's in a relation. This might be, thank you so much. Oh, you got a lot here. I'm going to try and read one at a time, Slag. I'm having a hard time go 100% of my daughter's mom, who I was with for 6 years. She's in a relationship who now says she's become something serious, even considering my daughter to meet him when it's only been 5 to 6 months of dating, talking. It's been harder on me because ever since we broke up, there had been some hot and cold behavior. It's making it seem like there was hope for us, and then in the end, there was no hope. And I lost it. Wish I could heal. She should have been honest with you, yes. When she could have been honest with me and told me she was talking to someone else instead of hiding it from me and finding it out for myself. Okay, so I am not sure what kind of relationship you had before. This does not sound like a wife, but it is your child's mother. It sounds like you were far more interested in her than she was with you. And it sounds like my interpretation from this is that you were already somewhat separated or not together, but she was kind of in and out of your life. I really, truly hate these messy endings. I describe it like a frayed electrical cord that can bump up against something. It starts sparks. It's dangerous, okay? It's like dangerous. It's like putting a toaster near the bathtub. It's just like dangerous. You just don't do it. You have justifiable anger because you were probably seduced and encouraged to be with her, and then she as quickly decided to be with somebody else. It doesn't sound like this was a solid relationship for a while. Forgive me, this is more like the way I feel just reading. It's kind of hard to. This is why I never, ever, ever, ever do text or email consultations. It's just way too hard to figure out. So I'm kind of guessing as I go along, but I think you guys had a lot of problems or you would have been a lot closer. This would have never happened if you were both close enough. And maybe because you're here, it's not about you, maybe it's about her. Not everybody does the work. And sometimes the easiest way to not do the work is just claim it was the partner. Just switch partners. So I would suggest you actually take a very, very honest, brutally honest look at what you think you want in this relationship. Other than the fact that she's your child's mother, I don't see a whole lot else here. So maybe what you want from her, the type of relationship, is not one that she can sustain, because you two would be far closer and have a far different relationship right now. You may have to suck this one up and understand that this is not a person who's solid and move on, and you also take this as a cue from the universe to like open up your eyes to somebody. You could be great friends and co-parent, but that maybe you're not great in a relationship together. Okay, so that's my thought. Thank you. Jillian, yes, you will love again. Believe it. And you will learn to trust. My fiance and I both actively work on this together and individually. You can do it. We love Jillian because Jillian is always here sharing good news, and she is engaged. Obviously, she's loved before. Obviously, her partner has. But there are people who are at a competency level that, am I saying this right? When you're competent, that are at a level that they are so good at partnership that they then resonate at that level and attract a person who is equally competent, like Jillian, people that have done the work. So many of you say, oh, I've done the work and I never meet my partner and what's going on. I just think it's going to happen. It is going to happen because you will never be comfortable with somebody who's less equipped to be a partner. If you've done the work and you try to do these things and you try to pay attention, you try to correct yourself, it's only to your benefit. It's never lost. I know we are so attuned to getting the goal is the proof that the work has worked, right? It is. Like if I work hard, I'll get money. That's the goal. It's a payout. But when it comes to human relationships, it's a little bit different because you're dealing with a whimsical, volatile human that's exposed to a lot of input all the time, much of which is inaccurate. So you're improving yourself and your ability to communicate, be a great mate, work on conflict resolution, all these fantastic things make you a much better partner, and it's not for nothing. Your partner, wherever they are in the world, your great match, is being educated too. So I hope this helps. Jillian, thank you so much. Bridget, $1. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. And again, Jack, love to have you here. Love it when my men are on board. Sean, yes, seduced. Okay, Sean. Okay. Yeah, so okay. Bella, one of my player ex came back full on promises and good intentions, but I don't trust him because after our first date, I realized that I never heal from this situation, even if it's your. So I just saw, and Zen Maiden, I see you're there, and I can't wait to talk to you. But I have to tell you, I'm always a little suspicious about somebody who comes back. I help people get back with their exes, but I'm working with them. So I'm a little bit more understanding. And are there those rare cases where somebody has truly awakened and transformed, where it was something like the timing was off or they couldn't focus? This happens a lot. I get clients who I can't believe this great person. I was in the midst of this huge life change. My father was dying and my mother was sick and I had all this stuff going on, and I wanted to be there and I couldn't. I think I blew my chance and I'm trying to rectify it. And those are real things. But for the most part, when somebody tries to come back that's already been a problem the first time, they are horny, they are lonely, and they're lazy. Because they figure it's Pavlovian. Got the food here once. Maybe if I scratch on the door, the food will come back again. In a case like this, if this person hurt you once, you have every right to not trust. So, from what I read, and it's brief, I'd say, stay away. Stay away. And let's see, I saw Zen Maiden here. Love to have you here, Zen Maiden. And Zen Maiden is another wonderful example of somebody who did tons of work and found her partner. I think her partner's in her photo with her. Truly a numbers game with finding love. Each one that doesn't work out means you're one step closer to the one. I love this. I love this. I had done a video a while back. Did you guys see it? I was just prompted to do it. It's like how to find love as a cynic. Because so many people become so cynical, and I don't blame you. It's the Wild West out there, and I live in the Wild West, and it's wild. So I think the online dating world has made most people go oh my God, is anybody who they say they are? Does anybody want a relationship? So I'm very, very pleased when I have people like Jillian and Zen Maiden who show up listen, everyone here, they've got their partner. They don't need to come to a live show on a Thursday. They don't need to be here. They're not sorting something out. They're not desperate to get somebody back or learn what they did wrong. They've got their person. And they show up, and it's kind of, it's beautiful. They come up and they should give us all inspiration that, yes, it does work. But these are people who have done a lot with their lives and really wanted to elevate. As you elevate, I know there are fewer people at the top of the mountain than at the base, but you would never want any at the base. These are the ones that you're all writing me about, like, oh my God, I can't believe they did this. Yeah, that's why they're down there. So thank you so much, Jillian and Zen Maiden. I really appreciate this. Let's see. Bella, yeah, to you. Let's see, Jillian. Susan is so right. She's so wise, compassionate, and insightful. She helped me get the skill level I've reached. Oh, you sweet thing. You were so far there already. I don't think I did a thing because I've been talking to you here and you knew everything, but I'll take it if you want to give it to me, but I don't think I deserve it. Bella, yes, you will. Give yourself the gift to forgive the situation and know that you've learned what you don't want. Perfect. Okay. The art of letting go. It's a process. Okay. Let's see. I lost it. I had to leave and come back. Okay. Am I going in and out on some of you people? It's consistent here, so I'm sorry about that. Let's see. There's a good connection, but there is no chance for a relationship due to distance. Okay. He's not planning on coming here soon, though he said he wants to see me. How to move on and stay friends. Why do you want to stay friends with somebody you want romantically? Doesn't that stop you from moving forward? I mean, I know some people kind of like to invest in a hopeful, maybe future. I just think life is short. And the more we get serious about what we expect, if we're showing up, we should expect our partner to show up. If we're making effort to care for somebody, wouldn't our time be better used if they were also making time for us? Somebody, you have a good connection with this person, but I got a question. Don't you have good connections with most people you meet? It just, this one suits you. Like they look good, or they seem good, or there's something about them that they work for you, right? But you're giving them a hall pass. They're not making an effort, and so now you're going to negotiate friends. You want to stay friends, so you stay in touch. If you are of a disposition, and only you can answer this yourself, where you can afford to do that, compartmentalize them and put them over on the shelf as a maybe in the future, and you can wholeheartedly, absolutely know that you can continue to move forward and in earnest look for a real relationship that's in the here and now, and I will come see you, then that's fine. But if let's stay friends is based on, I think I have a connection, and maybe if I hold on long enough, maybe this person will eventually see my worth and maybe they'll find time for me. No. I know that sounds harsh, doesn't it? But it's, the longer we put up with nonsense, the more nonsense we get. At some point, we've got to know our worth. If you want a relationship, do things with people that do relationship behavior. Don't waste your time trying to convince or hope somebody. And this is in general. I'm not yelling at you. I want you to know I'm saying all of this out of, concern for those of us who in our younger years waited and hoped and dreamt that maybe something would occur. Wow. It takes up a lot of space. It's brilliant if you're really working on a career and you just kind of like the kick of having a crush on somebody, because it kind of makes your day a lot of fun when you get dressed up and you think you're going to see them, or maybe you go to the gym more than often because you think they're going to be there, then it's kind of beneficial because there's another benefit other than getting the relationship. But I think everybody here is very intent upon being the best partner they can be and cultivating the very best possibility of an ongoing, meaningful love, whatever that means to you. So, onward. Any other questions? Let's see. I always find value and new nuggets and gems when I listen to this. Believe me, I'm continuously learning. That's why you're so fabulous. I love you, Jillian. Let's see. What do you do if you don't have good example of a male figure, etc.? This is cultural, and I know that there are people that have never had. I totally understand that. I had the most loving, amazing, incredible human being in the form of a father. So therefore, I love men. I love men. I see the frailty. I see the puffed up ego. I see the posturing. There are rotten human beings that happen to be male, and there are rotten human beings that happen to be female. But generally speaking, I think I understand men. And I think they're not as we think they are. You have had a horrible experience. So, what would be the correction? I'd like those of you here to help her. What do you think Maria should do? I've got my feelings. This is supposed to be interactive. The first thing I would do from my end, and I'd love to hear what everybody else says, Maria, I'd open my mind to the possibility. If you believe, and that's locked, all men are bad, all men cheat, you can't trust any man, they're going to abandon you, and that's all you saw, I understand why you think that. Yeah? So you got no trust. And rightfully so. If you never think it's possible, guaranteed you're never going to see it. But if you open yourself up and say, okay, here's what I do. Step one. Okay, universe, God, whatever. Love gods. Just whatever's out there. Show me. Your job is to show me some good men. I need to see good men. And you have a cat fight with the universe. I've gotten sassy in the past with them. Like, I wanted this. You show me this. You show me this exists. You want me to believe this is possible? You gave me this desire. You better show me this is possible. So let's start easily. You don't have to make it be me right now. Show me it exists in other people. And I started looking for it. I saw beautiful situations of men devoted to their families, loving their children, adoring their wife. That's a good first step. They do exist. Trust me, I work with men. When a man loves a woman, he will walk through fire for her. Not just once, but repeatedly. He will do anything. The level of commitment is way beyond ours. The level of romance, way beyond anything we can imagine. When a man falls and he makes a commitment in his heart, it is intense. That's the truth. They're way more emotional than we are. They just don't show it in ways that we understand. Okay? So there you go. What do you all think from Maria? Healing yourself first. Dump him. That's rather positive. Let's see. Dump him. Come on. What should Maria do? Why is it so hard for men to want to build trust instead of being trust? I'm not sure I understand that. Okay. As anyone who is blessed with a nurturing, loving, devoted father, I can tell you there are very good men out there. I saw how much my parents loved and protected and cared for each other. It's real. Yes, it is real. Actively look for proof that good men exist. Colleagues, friend group. Great example. Maria, I believe you should know in yourself what feels good inside. Develop a relationship slowly. Know what you want. Be very clear in your intentions in your mind. In the name of many men, I'm sure. Thank you, Susan. Gunter, you are welcome, my dear. Oh, I love you. You've done, we did some Fan Mail Fridays to you, and I saw your name come up before. That's so lovely. Why are people so afraid to love? Oh, my God, is that a great question. I knew 20 years ago when I was going to try to, help some people in this industry, I thought, I'm not going to be able to do a thing until I can eliminate the number one roadblock, and that's the fear of being hurt. The reason people are afraid to love is they're afraid of being hurt. Right? If I could guarantee all of you that you could go and love, go date, go have sex, go have whatever, and you would never suffer heartache, you'd all be out there doing it. but people are so afraid of the breakup, the hurt, the betrayal, the ego loss, the just being played, being hurt, whatever, and that's why we don't love. Now, there's nothing that we can ever love that is permanent in this world. I mean, people die, cats die, dogs die, horses die, grandpas die, grandmas die, children die. People die, people leave, people change. We have to, I think, love because it feels rewarding for us. And we try in shows like this to at least make a fairly good selection so that we don't keep coming up with bad results, which would obviously make us mistrust and not believe in love. But love is a gift we give to ourselves. And I wrote that a long time ago because in the act of really loving, there's some kind of portal that opens up in humans that is astounding. The power, the intensity, the focus, it's its own testimony to walking through fire. It's quite extraordinary. And it is, I think, one of the greatest portals to a spiritual understanding, a true love, a deep love. But that's my take on it. And yes, why don't people fall in love? Because they're afraid of getting hurt. Perhaps the better thing they should do is learn to be resilient, which is my philosophy. Think of everybody who wants to go snowboarding, but they don't want to fall down. Everybody that would love to be a great skier, but I might tumble. I could hurt myself. Everybody that wants to do any sport, I want to play football. I want to be a football star, but don't tackle me. What the hell? Every day, people are doing the most insane things. I mean, if you ever want to see the American ridiculous TV show Jackass or whatever, I mean, these kids don't even know what they're going to be in the orthopedic surgeon's office 50 years from now, cursing themselves for, 1 million hits on whatever TikTok or something. But they don't see what they're doing. But that's crazy. That stuff's crazy. Jumping off a roof is crazy. That's real pain. Falling in love? No. We should be resilient, okay? People take on the most extreme risks in life, but they're terrified to open up their heart. Lack of training. It's like putting me in the ring with some mixed martial art person. I'm dead in 2 seconds. No training. Put that person in front of me for a counseling session, they'd probably be terrified. I understand. So we must develop the skill of resilience within ourselves, and that depends on self-love. Self-love creates confidence, looking at the world differently, trying to have a greater perspective from a higher level about why things happen, learning from what's happening instead of being victimized by it. All these things add up. Brilliant comments from my brilliant followers here. Maria, I would just take things very slowly and go at your own pace so that you're comfortable. And see, this is great. At some point, whilst going slow, hang on, it says, you will feel able to let the right one in. Right, perfect. You will know a hookup guy from a more serious one. Zen Maiden says, yes, move on, cross them off, and get back up. Okay, wishing you the best of luck, Maria. Okay, so we rallied around Maria, okay, and let's see, those men are truly everywhere. I found it to be beneficial to keep an open mind about dating. Look at it in the early stages as getting to know a new person rather than focusing on partnership. True. Okay, so a lot of people are uncomfortable dating in general, and I understand because we tend to focus more on, God, I hope they like me. Even if I don't like them, at least I want them to like me and not go, oh, God, did I sign up for a coffee with this chick? So what we want to do is come in, instead of bringing our fears in, as I just told one of my clients, go with a level of curiosity. It's not about interviewing them. It's about learning. She had to have a very difficult conversation about a ton of red flags that this guy had. And I've got another session with her, so I'm guessing the discussion went a little sideways. But I said, when you're doing this, you're not going to be punitive. True, we know there are tons of red flags, but I want you to be curious and use the word over and over again. Help me understand this. Because you can see how this looks to somebody on the outside. Here's an irregular, and that's another thing you can use. If you're starting to see a red flag with somebody and you're doubting them, say to them, help me to understand this. This behavior, you tell me to call you, you're gone all weekend. Then suddenly, when you want to go on a date, you chat me up. And then you tell me you're going to go see your friends for a weekend. I say, oh, you're going to go hiking. And I say to you, oh, listen, show me a photo. Give me some photos of the mountains. I'd love to see what you're doing. No photos. You're the person that says, call me. I call you. You don't answer. I leave voicemail. You don't answer. So this is real conversation from one of my other clients. So this is where you'd say, these things are happening. They look like a pretty steep group of red flags, and a normal person dating would just rightly assume that, well, you've either got a side chick, you're married, or you are not that interested in me. So help me to understand, because I like you and I want to see what's going on here. So if we enter with curiosity and want to learn, the person across from you will automatically be more forthcoming because they're not having to be on the defensive. So this is also a good tactic. When you want to get the truth out of your partner, don't attack them. Nobody's going to tell you the truth when they're terrified that everything they say is going to go wrong. They're going to lie to protect themselves. You're going to butter them up a little bit. Okay? Why do I feel like we've gone pretty long? Oh, here we go. All right. Giselle, how are you doing? Okay. 200. Oh my God, of whatever this is. Thank you so much. I really, my boyfriend confessed to me that he was a serial cheater. Oh my God. But he was changing his ways because he loved me and he wanted to do things right. I don't know what to think. What should I do? Thank you, Susan. Okay. I like this. This is either the best con I've ever heard of, or it's somebody who's truly trying. I have a dear friend who keeps telling me she's a sex addict, but I just think she was in a marriage way too long. But now the more I listen, maybe. And she loves her partner. She had some mistakes, and he found out. And she really hurt this kid because he really loves her. There are people who cheat. And I think that given this forthright admission, if you really like this person, you have to understand. Well, first of all, I'm on his side as of this moment, okay? Because one, he told you something so bad and that he wants to, did he betray you or has he cheated in the past? That he was a serial cheater. Okay. This is like a person saying, look, I had a drinking problem. I'm in the program. I never want to drink again. I did horrible things when I was drinking. And that's an old part of me. So he's telling you right up front that he doesn't want to do this. Now, it's a liability, true enough, but we all come with certain baggage. If he's in a program and he's working on it and you can't. But you already know he's got a liability. But it took a lot of courage for the guy to say this. He didn't have to write this to you. Now, there could be a part two where you say, and he did cheat on me 4 times, then I might be, But just reading this clip, just here, this is what I'd say. I would pursue this with, optimistic caution. Okay? I hope that helps you. Thank you so much. It's good to hear. You might firmly set a boundary. Let him know that cheating will not work for you, and then hold to that. Be kind to you. Yep. I agree with this. This is wonderful. Let's see. Love dies. Not in the mood anymore. Let's see. Okay. Well, I'm happy to see that we have some people that don't believe in love, because you're in the right place, because there are a lot of people that haven't had love here, which is pretty cool. So maybe you're in the right place to hear some good stuff that's encouraging. Not every person out there is honest. Not every person out there will want what you want. Not every person is going to treat you properly. Our job here is to learn to decode the nonsense, give you some skills to see if you can flip it. Can you alter the situation? Is there something you're doing? Is there something you could do differently to handle this person that will bring out another side of them? We all are wounded. After a certain point, we've all got our things, right? So that's about trust. Now, does anybody else have any other questions? And if not, I'll start to close up the show today. If you want to cheat, just be single. Saves everyone. So a good conversation is, I think I told all of you about this before. I start these before I even go into the bedroom, if I can. Like I said, if somebody can sit through the first 2 or 3 or 4 dates with me, and they haven't left screaming, I feel like they deserve a medal. But I like to go through all these things philosophically first, like the what ifs, because I want people to know what they're getting into. I don't want to sell you a false thing where you're like, oh, I don't know, you didn't say that. Yeah, I told you everything. So now you know what the deal is. But when people cheat, they are chasing something. They're either chasing something new and different, which means they like a lot of variety, which means maybe they need to question the very fundamental construct of how they do a relationship. Maybe they should never be entering a monogamous relationship. This is why we have to know ourselves and ask that our partner know themselves. If you bring up any kind of issue about working on yourselves and your partner goes, oh, that's a bunch of nonsense, I don't want to do that, then you are definitely with the wrong person. And guys, no matter how good she looks or no matter how good he looks, and you think they're going to be the one, if they have not done some work and answered some hard questions for themselves, you will be the recipient of the backlash of the work they have not done. Okay? Let's see, what else did I want to say? Is there anything else? Okay. He's been patient and great with me. This is great. So everybody here, I don't think I've missed anything. This is a lovely conversation. It takes trust. And again, as I've said dozens of times over, the one you really need to learn to trust is yourself. Learn to trust your intuition, balance your intuition with what you know are red flags. And if there is a time that something comes up, don't be afraid to speak up. I'm doing something different. I kind of get these ideas. Some people call them shower thoughts. I think that was from a TV show, maybe. But what was it? Rock Plaza or whatever, 30 Rock Plaza. But I think I had an idea of a show on communications. Like, it's actually a course that I want to teach. But I think there's a lot of fundamental communication that can happen that can set up the foundation for a relationship so that we don't have these problems later. Because most of this is because we see something we like visually, we get hopeful, we write a script around what we want to see happen, and then we sadly discover that they have deviated from the script we had in our mind of how we want this relationship to be. And now we either want to be quiet because we don't want to upset them, we don't want to rock the boat, or we speak up and suddenly they're like, I didn't quite understand that, or I don't do that, or where are you coming from, or I don't know if that works for me. I like to get all of that out of the way in the beginning. And one conversation that you could have around cheating is that, now for me, with a younger partner, the discussion would be, I realize that I'm older. There could be a time you look at me and go, ugh, God. You wake up in the morning and go, what the hell am I doing here? It could happen, right? So, I have to take that into account. So I would prefer, and this is all said before we have sex, I would prefer in a case like that you have the courage to come forward and say, thought I was into this, it's not working for me. Because if I catch you doing something else and I found out otherwise, you will get my wrath. Don't want my wrath? Come and tell me. We'll part and you go act out, do the stuff you got to do, because I do monogamy, right? I don't want you here 10 years and cheating. I'd rather have you here a year and we play this out one-on-one. That's my thing. So I like to have those, whatever your bottom line is. So I think that's an important thing to do. Don't hesitate to speak up. It is your freedom. It's yours setting the standards for your relationship. I'm going to sign out now. Thank you so much, Jillian and Zen Maiden, for showing up. Bea and Gwyneth, adore you madly. Maria, for sharing your situation with us. E.T., love, met you in Munich. And Mito, love you too. And the wonderful guys that have been on here, thank you so much. I know John, I think, is it John? Let's see, where's the name here? I think he's new to us, and I hope this was a good time for him. Okay, so I want to remind you about the dating games guide. I did this as I have no digital assets, and when I go on vacation for 3 weeks, nobody gets to work with me. So I want you to know that any question you have, this is a really cool thing. It is done by AI. It's once you get it, it's yours. It is 10 hours of all of my dating game stuff, from seduction games to hot and cold to con artist, to everything you need to know, all the terms that people would use, not only what's going on, but how to pivot out of it, how to countermove it. And this is done with this incredible AI system where once you get it, it's yours. It's like not on YouTube anymore. It's yours. And all you do is speak or text, write something in, it goes right to it. And as of now, it does English and Spanish with the translation for those of you that do not have English as a first language. And Retrieve, the company that creates this, has told me that if somebody is requesting another language, they can do that too. So it is truly the way to have something in your back pocket to access, because I know what it's like when I get a viewer request from you guys and you're asking me a question that I know I've already answered in one of my 700 videos. It's like, I know I did that. I have to go through my own material, through the search bar, and remember what keywords did I use, and then find it, and then copy the link, and then email you back and say, I've already done that video. Did you see this? It's so much easier. You say the word, you text it, boom, and it starts at the exact time count of the exact discussion, and you've got like rack after rack after rack after rack of options to hear exactly what you want. So I think it's rather brilliant. And the full bundle includes a membership that's kind of like Reddit, where you get to support each other like you do here. So take a look at that, see if you like it. It's my lead video, okay? Another thing is consultations. I am still doing one-on-one consultations, but I'm going to be changing that format soon and moving into group things and into different workshops. So there'll be fewer and fewer. So if you do want to book one-on-one with me while you still can, I strongly suggest that you take a look at the consultation page. And what else? Yep, that's it. That's all I have to say. If you have a suggestion, please write to me. Write media@susanwinter.net for a suggestion here, or go to the contact page of susanwinter.net, and where it says video requests, you can say video request, you can say, or do this in a live show. Because oftentimes I take your video requests and I put them straight into the live show. Okay? Thank you, Bea. Thank you, Gwyneth. Thank you, everybody who's joined me today. I love all of you, and I'm so happy to be here for you. Thank you. Thank you. Take care, everyone. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye now.